morning, students. As you all know, we have started with our new lesson number 12, Study of Sound from Science and Technology, Part 1. And in our previous video, we have learned the propagation of sound, velocity of sound, and reflection of sound. We have also learned about audible, infra, and ultrasound. And also we have learned about echo. So in today's video, we shall learn the next topic of this lesson, that is study of sound. Okay, children? So let's begin. So first we will learn about reverberation. Now reverberation or reverb is created when a sound or a signal is reflected, causing numerous reflection to build up and then decay as the sound is absorbed by the surfaces of object in the space, which could include furniture, people, and air. So this is known as reverberation. Now children, look at this picture which is present in your textbook, page number 133. Here, sound waves get reflected from the walls and roof of a room multiple times. Okay, so this causes a single sound to be heard not once but continuously. So this is called reverberation. I will repeat. Sound waves get reflected from the walls multiple times. So this causes a single sound to be heard not once but continuously. This is called reverberation. The time between successive reflections of a particular sound wave reaching us becomes smaller and the reflected sound gets mixed up and produce a continuous sound of increased loudness which cannot be deciphered clearly. So children, this is the reason why some auditorium or some particular seats in an auditorium have inferior sound reception. So children, understood the concept of reverberation? When the sound waves get reflected from the walls multiple times and this causes the sound to be heard not once continuously. So this process is called reverberation. You must have observed in your home where there is an empty room and when you speak something, the sound is getting reflected. So that is the reverberation. Okay. So moving ahead, let us learn about sonar. Now sonar is the short form for sound navigation and ranging. It is used to determine the direction, distance and speed of an underwater object with the help of ultrasonic sound waves. Now sonar has a transmitter and a receiver which are fitted on ships or boat. Observe this picture carefully. The transmitter produces and transmits ultrasonic sound waves. So these waves travel through water, strike underwater objects and get reflected by them. The reflected waves are received by the receiver on the ship. Now then what happens is the receiver converts the ultrasonic sound into electrical signals, and these signals are properly interpreted. The time difference between transmission and reception is noted. This time and the velocity of sound in water gives the distance from the ship of the object which reflects the waves. Okay, so sonar is used to determine the depth of the sea. Sonar is also used to search underwater hills, valleys, submarines, iceberg, sunken ships, etc. Let's understand it more clearly. How exactly sonar works. Now, as I said, sonar is an acronym for sound, navigation and ranging. Sonar measures the distance, direction and speed of underwater objects using ultrasonic waves. So, sonar consists of a transmitter and a detector. It is installed in a ship or a boat. The transmitter produces and transmits ultrasonic waves. These waves travel through water. They get reflected after striking the object on the seabed. The reflected waves are sensed by the detector. The detector converts the ultrasonic waves into electrical signals which are appropriately interpreted. The time interval between transmission and reception of the ultrasound is recorded. By knowing the speed of sound in water and considering the above time interval, the distance of the object that reflected the sound waves can be calculated. So, sonar technique is used to determine the depth of the sea. It is useful to locate underwater hills, valleys, submarines, icebergs, sunken ships, etc. I hope now the concept is clear to you all children. Okay, good. Now let's move ahead. Now we shall study about sonography. Children, sonography or ultrasound waves are found very useful. Ultrasound or ultrasonic waves are high frequency sound waves. So these waves have short wavelength. These short wavelength sound waves can be reflected back from the smaller objects. Thus, ultrasound can detect smaller objects. The sound waves in the audible range cannot detect or see objects smaller than having size ranging from few tens of centimeter to a few meters. Ultrasound beam is more directional and can be aimed towards any target just like a torch. These waves remain undeviated over long distances. Sonography technologies uses ultrasound waves to generate images of internal organs of the human body. This is useful in finding out the cause of swelling, infection, pain, etc., the condition of the heart, the state of the heart after a heart attack, as well as the growth of fetus inside the womb of a pregnant woman are studied using this technique. Now, how this technique works? This technique makes use of a probe and a gel. The gel is used to make proper contact between the skin and the probe so that the full capacity of the ultrasound can be utilized. The gel is applied to the skin outside the internal organs to be studied. High frequency ultrasound is transmitted inside the body with the help of the probe. The sound reflected from the internal organ is again collected by the probe and fed to a computer which generates the image of an internal organ. So children, as this method is painless, it is increasingly used in medical practices for correct diagnosis. So this is how ultrasounds are used in sonography. And as you can see here, the probe. Probe is what in the middle picture, where you can see someone is holding that machine, that is probe. Okay, and gel has been applied to the skin, and from that the ultrasound waves are released and image can be detected, and it has been recorded on the computer screen. Understood, children? Okay. Now children, development in science have led to advance in technology, which has helped us to make much progress. However, every coin has two sides, and the misuse of science had seriously consequences for human life. The sonography technique can help to follow the growth and well-being of an unborn baby. But the increasing incidence of female feticide as a result of discrimination between the girl and the boy child is an example of the grave misuse of this technique. Nowadays, female feticide is now cognizable offense under the PNDT Act. So there are some misuse also of this sonography technique. The next we shall study about the structure of human ear. So let's see what the structure of the human ear. We all know, children, which organ help us to hear? Ear is a sensitive device which functions with hearing, right? So it is an important organ. Ear allows to control audible frequencies into electrical signals that travel to the brain. Now these signals travel to the brain through a nerve called as auditory nerve. Look here, this is the auditory nerve. Now, These signals are being traveling from the brain through the auditory nerve. So, the human ear is mainly classified into three portions. And what are they? They are the outer ear or pinna, the middle ear, and the third one is inner ear. Let's study outer ear. The outer portion of the ear is called as pinna. It collects sound from the surroundings and passes through auditory canal to the eardrum. Eardrum is a thin membrane present at the end of the auditory canal, also called as tympanic membrane. As we have already learned, sound wave consists of compression and rarefaction. Isn't it? So when the compression of the sound medium reaches the eardrum, the presence on the outer side of the membrane increases and forces eardrums inside or inwards. In the similar way, during rarefaction, eardrum moves outward, thus eardrum vibrates. Middle ear. The middle ear consists of three bones: hammer, anvil, and stirrup. The vibration of the eardrum are amplified many times by these three ear bones. Also, the middle ear transmits amplified and pressure variated sound waves to the inner ear. Let's study inner ear. The pressure variations of the wave are turned into electrical signals by cochlea. The electrical signals are passed through auditory nerve to the brain, and brain interprets them as sound. So children, ear is an important sensory organ. Sticks or other pointed objects should never be inserted into the ear. Okay, it may cause severe damage to the eardrums. Okay children, so with this we have come to an end of today's lecture. I hope you all must have understood today's topic. So children, after watching this video, please read the lesson and please write down the given notes in your book. We shall see you in the next video with a new topic. Till then, take care children. Thank you once again for listening to me.